Why are most golfers at the same skill level for years? Well, you can probably ask yourself, why am I not improving? Week after week, I practice, I play, and I still don't improve. Well, this might be a cause because you're playing 9 and 18 holes and you don't even practice. Then you get frustrated, you think your swing is the problem, you go on YouTube, you start searching, looking for ideas, looking for that magical thing that is gonna transform your game. You go on the range, you start practicing, you realize, oh, this is actually good. 1 week later, yet you're still at the same place. So, if you're still here, let's begin with the video. The problem isn't your effort, it's your approach, how you approach the game of golf. What many people do is they love to play on the course because they don't want to practice. But then, as I said, you get frustrated, you start searching for answers, and there's nothing you can do about it. You are in a circle, in a magical circle that we call it the Matrix. And here we are back again. And this applies to golf as well. Why do you think that so many professionals actually practice and you see them practice? Because on practice, you can actually become better. I'm not saying that playing 9 holes and 18 holes is not gonna get you somewhere. Definitely it's gonna get you somewhere. But there's a certain edge where you can get just by playing on the course. And you must understand one thing. There is so much to learn on the golf course as well. But if your base, which is the swing in this case, is not at the right term, it's not at the right, level, then your game is gonna suck. So what you might do, let's say you play 3 times a week and you don't even practice and you want to get better. Why don't you divide those 3 times that you play on the course into 2 times of practice sessions and just go practice a little bit of putting, chipping, pitching, long game, and then go proceed the 3rd day to play 9 holes and 18 holes. And you do this for a month and you're gonna see much better results. In this video, I'll break down why practice over playing is much better for improving your game. And trust me, I've been playing golf for more than 20 years. And if there's something I can share my experience and my story. And to make it even better, I'm putting some B-rolls, which are gonna effectively change a little bit of visualization that you're gonna have on this whole video. So, let's begin. Let's start with the most important lesson, which is practicing and playing. Now, let's break down. First, we're gonna start with playing. When you go on a golf course, you usually go with the goal. Alright, I wanna go play 9 holes. Now, either you go play for fun, you go with friends, or to improve. Because when you play in a tournament, you're gonna be on the course. And the course is going to be the most important thing. Well, you must say, why don't we just play if this is what we actually do? Well, now we go back to practicing. When we look at golf, we have to look at fundamentals/basics. And our golf swing is our base of golf. Now, if our base is not good enough, we're not gonna be good on the golf course either, and we're gonna be frustrated over and over and over. I've seen so many players, even in my country, they don't practice, they just go on the golf course and they just play. They just play 9 holes, 18 holes every second day, and they don't improve. And they're always frustrated. Oh, why do I have hooks? Why do I have slices? Why am I not playing good? Why I cannot improve? It's because you need to practice to improve. One of the most important lessons I've learned is practice is king. If you want to upgrade your base, which is your golf swing, you have to improve technique, especially golf. Golf is so important because there's so many lessons and so many advanced swing techniques that you need to learn to become good, to become better. We got putting, we got chipping, we got long game, iron game. And then on top of that, then we got course management, we got the mental health, we got mental preparation. There's so many things you need to consider to be a good golfer. So, let's break this down a little bit more. As you said, we have putting, chipping, We have all the aspects of technique and games you need to play on golf to become good. And then in the end, it's not all about refining one strategy, it's about combining it all together to become a whole. If you know how to chip, how to pitch, then you need to put this into the play. And once you actually practice and refine the technique and the shots that you want to visualize and play on the course, then you can go on the course and you can say, okay, I've learned how to hit a low flop shot. Boom. You go on a course and then you try practicing that. And then you realize that on the course, because you're under pressure, it doesn't work. It means you go back to practicing and you need to practice that a little bit more. And then the next time you go on the course, you say, okay, let's do low flop shots. And then you see if you get better. And if you practice, sooner or later, you're gonna get that muscle memory, which is gonna strike down when you're nervous. Golf is all about nervous. We can all play shots when we are calm. But when the pressure comes, this is where your swing and your base swing is gonna define if you're a good golfer or not. That's why practicing allows us to be better and more consistent. So, what I advise you to do is spend less time on a course if you want to improve, and spend more time improving your game. Go on putting green, and I'm not saying you have to spend 70 hours on putting. I'm saying spend 1 hour more than you did now, and you're gonna feel much more improvement. Spend 1 hour more on driving range. Spend 1 hour more, doing course management on the golf course. And trust me, you need to have your base settled down, and you need to go to a certain level where you feel confident in your skin, and you will get confidence with the amount you practice. Trust me on this one. Don't just play golf because you want to enjoy and go play 9 holes and 80 holes. Start practicing. It's gonna help you improve your game. Now let's talk about time management. As you know, time management in life is as important as in golf. If you're a businessman, if you're an average guy who works 9 to 5, you know how time management is very important once you get older. And you must apply the same time management rules into golf or other sports that you do. Now let's break this down. We said practicing over playing is much more efficient. Why? Let's break it down by time. If you go play 9 holes, you average around 20 putts per 9 holes. And you average about 20 to 30 shots. It depends, how good you are. Which means you make around 50 shots, 40 shots, 30 shots. It depends how good you are. Now, if we break this down, so let's say average 45. If we break this down into practicing, you can make 20 putts in less than 5 minutes. You're already better than if you go just on the course. And you've already spent just 5 to 10 minutes in the putting range. So you can do a 30-minute session on the putting green, and you can make around 100 putts. You're already over 3 times the value that you go on a golf course. Now we still have 1 hour and a half. Now let's say we want to do a little bit of chipping. We do half hour of chipping, which means we can chip probably, if you get a bucket, you can chip around 150 balls. Place the ball, boom, boom, boom. You start refining your chipping. And you already made 4 times or 10 times the amount of chips that you do on a 9 holes. Now just imagine, you take 1 month and you actually practice and not even play, and you would probably get 20 times more shots than if you just go playing on the course. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, then, well, I don't know what it does if you want to improve. Now, we still have 1 hour left. We can take those 1 hour and divide into 40 minutes of long range. And we can hit around, let's say, 100 balls. It depends how fast you are. You may hit 20 balls, you may hit 100 balls. But you essentially hit 50 to 60 balls in 40 minutes. Now this is already 3 times the amount of shots you can make and you can practice while you're in the driving range. And you can do this consistently. Now just imagine you're working on your swing. You have push, right? You're working something to get rid of your push. You go on a course and every shot is push, and then you're trying to figure out something new. Of course it's not going to help. Because in golf, what you need to know, if you want to practice one thing and you want to get rid of, certain error that you have in your swing, then you will need to practice that long time. Most amateurs don't actually understand how much it takes to improve one thing. And if you go to some YouTuber which shows you some tip and then you play 20 volts and you say, oh, this doesn't work, well, no shit, is not gonna work. You need to practice this over day by day, week, months. It might take 4 months. It depends what kind of advanced thing you're working on. Now you actually understand how much more shots you can produce in 2 hours of playing and practicing. At the end, it's almost 6 times more. And if you want to improve, now just try to put this on a scale and see where you are. If we take 18 holes into consideration, well, let's say you're an average player, you do around 85 shots. Well, you got 85 putts in 15 minutes on putting green. You got 85 putts on chipping in 30 minutes. You can do 10 times better practice on practicing, and that's why we call it practice. And people don't understand, oh, practice, yeah, I'm just gonna be there. Practice is all about practice and refining your swing. I loved when Bryson DeChambeau said, I don't even play, I just practice. And he said the same thing, and this is where I'm kind of coming from, because it really gave me an idea. Well, this is actually very true, because I had certain periods of time where I actually played a lot and actually practiced a lot. But for me as a professional, I still have a better base than most of amateurs, so I kind of need to be on the course. Now you're probably wondering, well, but golf is played on 18 holes, not on practice. Of course, we all understand this. But if you want to get to a certain level, you have to practice your way out of it, right? And once you get to a certain level, then you will go on a course and you will actually refine your strategy on the course. Because what you do on practice, you need to still put that into play on the golf course. So if you just practice one thing, that doesn't mean it's gonna be very successful on the course. Because as I said before, when your swing comes under pressure, this is where you know your true swing and how your swing performs. We can all perform in good times, but when pressure comes, this is where your repetitions are gonna come in play, and this is where you will shine. I'm gonna share a story with you. I'm a 23-year-old golfer. I've been playing golf for more than 20 years. I started around 2, 3, 4 age, just like Tiger Woods, and I've been playing all my life. I became a pro recently around 2 years ago, and my game was never the same once I became pro. I live in Slovenia, which is a small country with, small amounts of people, small amount of golfers. No one has ever made it to the highest rank, which means PGA Tour, European Tour, so Tier 1 class. No one has ever made it there. Now, I can ask myself, am I able to go to Tier 1 with the coaches and with the facilities that I have in my country? No one has ever done. So, we go back to the circle. We got a circle where we all come from, alright? And we kind of circle around. It's same with the jobs that you have. You go to school, you go to university, you have a 9-to-5 job, and then you're in a circle. If you want to get out of this circle, you have to do something different. And this is where my story comes into fruition. My first coach was my father, and he taught me all the basics and all the stuff that propelled me when I was young. But then there was a certain time where I had to take actions on my own. I was around 13, 14 when I said to my father, I cannot do this with coaches anymore. I was not going anywhere. Of course, it's not all about the coaches. I wasn't practicing. I wasn't the best. But it was always certain motive that I didn't like what they told me. And I was 14 at that time. You must say, hey. But I always had that knowledge from my father, and I knew what was good for me, what was not good for me. And then coaches were telling me the other thing. So at around 14, I said to my father, hey, let's go on a tournament together. We went to Italy. I always tell this story because it's an amazing story. We went to Italy and we started practicing. It was a 4-day tournament. On practice rounds, I kind of played solid, and he was like, what you doing? I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been telling you. So the first 2 days begin. I think the first day I kind of managed to get a solid score. It was around 4 hours at that time, 5 hours. I'm not sure how much, around that. And, kind of managed to get that done. And we said, okay, let's go to next day. The next day, I think I shot around 14 over, something like that. It was one of the worst performances I had. And then we had a talk with my father. And this was probably the first breaking point of my career. And he said, look, I'm gonna give you one chance. If you don't listen to me right now, we are over. And so we kind of had that debate, not debate, it was kind of conflict. And I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? Then I said, all right, let's go to driving range. In 1 hour of driving range session, my father changed my swing from 14 over to, well, let's see what I made. I made a cut. I think I was one shot over the cut or just on the line. So I made a cut. I was really happy. I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the next day was 36 holes. And my father just changed the swing to the most basic stuff that I've been practicing. The first round, I shot 3 over. The best round. The next round, I shot -3, which was, I think, one of the best rounds that I've shot this year. That year, sorry. And I was like, shit. If one guy can change the swing in 1 hour, then just imagine how much you can do if you have somebody right on your side. So from then on, I decided I'm gonna start practicing on my own. And my father was around 1 year. He was with me, and he was practicing, he was coaching. I started playing solid, I started playing 2, 3, 4, 5 over. There was, nothing around 15 over because I was kind of getting consistent. But there was a time in the point where my father couldn't, coach me anymore because he had job and I had other stuff to do. So I started on my own. But before that season, it was the best season I've ever had. I was second in Hungary. I think it was that season. I'm not 100% sure. Either was that season or the next season, but I think it was the same season. I went to Hungary. I was second. I finally came to Vágar, which is the world amateur ranking. Perfect. This is what you need when you're an amateur. Then I played really good in Slovak. I had the best season. I think I even won one tournament. It was absolutely amazing season. At the end of that season, everything break loose. I started losing ground. I started, trying some stuff. I had nobody by my side. I was just going on my own. And I was 15, 16 years old? 14, 15, 16 years old? With not a lot of knowledge, going on my own path. And then all hell break loose. And then high school came. And, I wasn't really sure what I'm doing. So, for the next few years, it was kind of all stable, kind of went up, down. But at a certain point, I kind of become constantly solid. I wasn't good and I wasn't bad. I was always playing around, 0, 2 over, 3 over, -2, whatever. But I couldn't win tournaments because I was not good enough. Now there was a point where I had to make a decision in my life. Either I go to university, to United States, following my brother's steps, because he was in Arkansas State, he was playing there for 5 years. He loved it. And I had to make a decision. Will I go to university or I will stay at home and turn professional? And I was already struggling in school. I always thought that school is not for me. But then we talked to my father and I said, look, if there's one thing I can do is I don't want to go to university. And this is the first time I took responsibility myself and I said, hey, I want to turn professional. I don't want to pursue school anymore. So I passed the exam with 49%. I barely made it. I was like, okay, yeah, this is done. Done with school. From that moment on, my life started changing. Then I started doing workouts, started building muscle, and that really impacted my game. In a good way and a bad way. In a good way, because I actually started to hit the ball further. I became longer. I became more stable. But I became really stiff, which for golf is not very good. You need explosive muscles and you need mobility. And this is where I didn't have. I had power. I started gaining power. And we played the World Team Championship in La National in France. I was super happy. My last amateur tournament, World Amateur, couldn't get any better. I was really practicing and hoping to get there. And yeah, I played one of the worst golfs in my life. I was like, shit, right? Not good. One of the worst golfs in my life. So after that, I kind of practiced a little bit, kind of chilled a little bit. Then, my professional journey began, and I soon realized how good I actually need to be to play on that level. And I started changing swing. And I read one book. Now, already at that time, I was starting to get a hang of my game, starting developing techniques, course management, and all other stuff, and I was actually getting better. And this is the one book that I read. It's How I Play Golf. If you have time, and if you have a little bit of time in the world, this is the best book that you will, and this is the only book that you will probably need for when it comes to technique wise. Tiger Woods, for me, the best golfer has ever existed. And this is the book where he shows you everything from putting, chipping, long game, iron game, low shots, high shots, everything. Really, take a look at this book. This gave me another understanding of golf. Now I read this book and I started developing my technique. I started changing my swing for better. And when I said before, practicing is one of the most important things. Well, I changed my grip. And I was changing my grip for around 5 to 6 months and I still couldn't get a hold of it. And I've almost practiced every single day. And as someone who's an amateur thinks that they're gonna get something done in just 2-3 days, well, it's not gonna happen. It is simply not gonna happen. If you want to get something done, you have to commit to that thing. If you want to change your grip, commit to grip change. And then work towards grip change for the next 3 months. It's gonna go badly the first month, the second month. And then you start slowly getting the hang of the grip and whatever else thing you do. So it's really, really, really important where you actually work on something and progress through every day and not change the same thing and not have 20 different, I have to go up, I have to do this, I have to do this. Once I become professional, I actually realized that I need to become so much better. And then at the end, it was not all about technique. I realized that I have to fix the life, which is in subconscious, which is not just about golf life. It's about how you live, finances, love relationships, is everything. And if you want to become a professional golfer, so this is mostly for professionals, you know how much our mind, how much our subconscious plays a big role in golf. And that's why right now I'm trying to fix that. And the year 2025 is going to be the year where I have to change everything, and then 2026 actually go and try to be one of the best golfers in the world. And this is what I'm trying to do. And I know it's gonna be a long journey, and actually I'm probably gonna be filming these videos, educate you guys, get my swing to better shape, get my body into better shape, try to do certain things. And it's gonna be a heck of a journey. So yeah, once I turn professional, really my golf game and my kind of progressive thinking has definitely changed. So I'm very happy I can share this story. Finally, let's talk about something that golfers neglect, and it's called reflection. You have to reflect upon your game. This is so important. You have to realize what things you're doing wrong and what things you're doing good. I know for many amateurs who just want to play golf, sometimes you just want to get ahead of your, job and just have fun. This mostly goes to golfers who are trying to improve. And you have to reflect upon your game. So let's say you play 9 holes and you just want to play, 9 holes all by yourself. And you play, let's say 3 over, and you say, oh, I actually did really good. Now, what would be a good option is to reflect upon your game. What was the things I was doing right? What was the things I was doing wrong? And this is why many people do statistics. Because statistics, don't lie. I personally don't do statistics because they just overburden my mind, and I would just think about that and it would just be negativity in my mind. So I kind of know, because I'm so in tune with golf and with my, with my guts, that I know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Maybe it's wrong sometimes, but this is what I'm trusting. After 1 year, I want you to sit down and be like, okay, let's reflect. Let's say your goal was to improve. Did I improve? What did I improve? How did I improve? Did I practice more? Did I play more? Did I get new clubs? Did I get more money? And I was more subconscious. And then you start progressing and you realize, okay, my putting was better. I was actually practicing putting. Boom. One of the most important things that you need to learn as a golfer is your tendencies. If you don't know what your tendencies are, it's going to be hard for you to change your swing. It's going to be hard for you to play, and it's going to be hard for you to practice. You need to know, let's say for a long game, you need to know how your shots are going to go when they're missed and when they're played good. When they're missed, for me, I know I'm going to get a push or I'm going to get a fade. Or in certain occasions, I'm going to get a small pull. I'm not going to get a draw, I'm not going to get a hook. Maybe, a few percent of the time. But I know my tendencies. I know my ball goes right. This helps you identify the patterns that you have in your game that you can improve. And that's why you need to reflect upon your game. You need to be aware of how your swing and how your, base, how your golf swing base is actually turning out. And when you know tendencies, for me, I know I'm gonna go right. So if there's out of bounds on the right, well, I'm gonna be aiming left. And for most amateurs, what they're gonna do is they're gonna stand straight, and even if they knew they can hit right, well, they would just go straight, boom, out of bounds. You're already 2 shots behind. Now this is how you should reflect upon your game. So if you want to be better and you want to be consistent, try building it like a roadmap. And look, at the end, every single part of the game is gonna be connected to how you play. And you must say, okay, for amateurs, we need to have a good long game. We need to have a good short game. Well, if you want to be consistent, you will need to have every single aspect to a certain level. There can be just one shot that you don't know how to play, and you cannot improvise. Well, you're gonna make a bad shot, you're gonna make 2 bad shots, and those 2 bad shots are gonna transfer into the next hole. You're gonna be frustrated, oh, why did I miss putt? Why did I chip like that? And you hook the ball, and you get into the water, and then you make another double, and you make another double. And this is how it all progresses in golf. And this is semi-life. You do a mistake, think over and over and over, and it goes worse, 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 worse. Think about when you make a birdie in golf. Do you feel good? Of course you do. You're like, hey man, I can make a hole in one the next, I can make 4 more birdies in a row. And that's why when you look at professionals, you oftentimes see birdie, birdie, par, birdie, because it's called momentum. And this is where Andrew Tate actually really said good. Once the rocket is flying, it's not stopping. And it's same in golf. It's same principle in golf. It's same principle in trading. When the price has momentum, it's gonna go up. But there's gonna be a certain tide and a certain range which is gonna fall back down. This is where you need to be ahead of your game. This is where you need to be consistent, and this is where your base, as we go before from practicing, is gonna come in play. When I make a bogey, how do I jump back from it? How do I realize, okay, I made a mistake, now let's go forward? It's same in life. When you make a mistake, when you lose money, when you do something in a relationship that it's not good for you or for somebody else, you need to reflect upon it and you need to go forward. You need to be, okay, I did a mistake, I'm not gonna do it again. Then you move forward and forward and forward. And this in golf, many amateurs, as I said, neglect. And this is why most amateurs and most golfers stay at the exact same level all the time. So if you're tired of being stuck, stop playing gained holes and start practicing. Take 2 times a week to practice and take 1 time a week to play, so you can actually realize and reflect upon your game, how much you practice and how good your practice was. Did I improve? Is it getting better? Are my scores getting lower? And this is what you should do every week, every month, every year. Reflect upon your game, practice more than you play, and focus on few things, not 10,000 things. Try to improve few things at once, then go forward. If you're ready to take your game to the next level, there's gonna be 2 videos up here. One is gonna be bunker, one is gonna be chipping. Check them out. Maybe they're gonna help you as well. If you have any more questions, let me know down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.